this is Mary Jane Watson, everyone. So now we're on one here. As you might have figured out in some other videos, I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I always used to have, right, Spider-Man behind me, right, in my, like my favorite poster. As it says, as you can see here, right, with my favorite poster, with great power comes great possibility. So I grew up, right, Spider-Man was my biggest thing, and here's some of my other Spider-Man stuff, right, here's like a Spider-Man figure, here is a Spider-Man little gnome or something, bunch of Spider-Man stuff, okay? This here is like a classic, diorama of Spider-Man, right? Very, very iconic, but I almost kind of like this one more, though. The Spider-Man, the Spider-Man weird, like, Garden Gnome. Anyway, I bring it up because I was talking about Mary Jane Watson. So about a day ago, they showed a new official Mary Jane Watson image, right, in the coming game. And I haven't actually seen it before, so I've been kind of like, trying to avoid spoilers, right? So I was very impressed immediately when I saw how Mary Jane looks now with this mighty, powerful jawline, right? Finally, she's like a real, beautiful character, and I think it's awesome. And first of all, I'll say immediately, it really reminds me of American Dad. I'm a big fan of American Dad, and it definitely reminds me of the episode when Stan gives everyone his mighty, powerful jawline, right? Like Francine with the jawline. I mean, seriously, it's very, very similar. And American Dad is by far my favorite TV show of my father. Much better than Family Guy and so on. And I stand of the powerful jawline, right? So, Mary Jane, finally looking beautiful, I really like, right? And just to point out kind of where I'm coming from an actual experience. When I was a kid, I definitely grew up with this Mary Jane. I would say more so than anything. Yeah, so obviously, like I said, I've seen every Spider-Man show, whatever, right? But especially, of course, Spiderman TAS, right? Spider-Man, the animated series, is my childhood. That's what I really grew up with. You can see behind me, right? This poster here is Spider-Man. This is different comic books, of course. But Spider-Man and mostly the Avengers and also a bit of X-Men, right? So this is definitely kind of like that. My childhood, like the, of course, also X-Men, the animated series airing on the same time. Those two shows were my big thing. And also to point out, of course, Batman. I thought about last year, right, with Kevin Conroy and so on. So, of course, it's just Batman, right? But it used to be very clear here. So this is the kind of Mary Jane I grew up with, right? But obviously, she's kind of problematic, and I feel that look at her jawline, look at her face, that redhead. I'm a huge fan how they have finally made Mary Jane look like an actual woman, right? Sample, like I said, the red hair too. I mean, in the old Spider-Man TAS, they always keep commenting how she's like a redhead, a very powerful red hair and so on. So I definitely like how in the video game, they kind of have mapped that out. This is a thing called the Fresnel effect, right? The Fresnel effect means that, you can see in the GIF here, right? When lightning hits you in a certain angle, right? It's both in reality, especially in gaming and so on, the actual effect, the metal effect of metal and so on, loses its shine basically, right? So the reflection is much weaker, right? This is actually how it is in reality. And obviously in every other video game ever, they have never really used the Fresnel effect properly, right? But now instead, finally fixed Mary Jane, right? This Mary Jane here is actually much more realistic because her red hair, right, has that, like, no shine effect on it, right? The Fresnel effect and so on. Making it, completely, metal out, right? And that's just how actual woman is supposed to look, right? So I'm really happy how they finally, changed that problematic issue of Mary Jane. Like giving her, how to say it, right? Impossible hair and so on, yeah. For example, yesterday I started playing Disgaea 7, right? Released yesterday. I might have a review, of course, except for that, if one watch a review coming later, and probably some teasers or whatever, right? But this game here, right, obviously, very problematic, right? It's not in Japan. Every female character looks like, the main character is a kind of otaku cat or something, right? It's just, I really wish that the Japanese developers could learn from the Western developers, right? And make the female character actually be appealing, right? But there's a trend, and I definitely might make a video about this more later. It's almost a trend that I've been following, guys, and I really want to hear your comments below, right? What do you guys think? But this trend is called like the uglification of video games, something like that. And of course, I think it's preposterous to say that, but it is interesting that I do agree though that it definitely something's happening. Basically, gaming in the West primarily, but also other places too, but in the West, is getting better and better. But I do agree there is a trend though, absolutely. Like the Fable one, Horizon Zero Dawn, my favorite game, right? I love that game, and so on, right? But there's one thing I always wonder about, though, that every female character is more and more beautiful in video games right now, is that I feel that, like I saw with Castlevania, with Annette there, is that every time the developers, or writing whatever, every time they write these amazing female characters and make them really, really appealing, right? I feel that it's like a sign of the writing also being really good, yeah. If there's anything I've seen in this trend is that the more beautiful and amazing these female characters are, the better the writing is. I think that's honestly, I think that's like a huge trend because I really love how basically every time you see a character like this, you also know they're gonna be well written. It's like Aloy and so on. Every time you know that this is basically a sign for also well written storylines or whatever. Absolutely. So I'm really excited for playing Spider-Man 2, guys. And last time it was released, Spider-Man 1, last year, but last time, it actually got out on my birthday, I believe. So that's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, it's like I'm a big Spider-Man fan, obviously, all Spider-Man stuff. And it come out on my birthday. That was a sweet thing. I remember there was 2 games that dropped that week, but he just felt very much like, well, I'm a Spider-Man. I'm the biggest Spider-Man fan ever, right? So that's perfect. And I've been anticipating, this game, of course, since then. It's been 5 years now. Massively anticipated, of course. I'll say it here lastly, right, because I really want to point it out. This gaming year, though, it's been amazing, right, Yeah. Octopath Traveler, Fire Emblem, Zelda, Baldur's Gate, Street Fighter, whatever. Yeah, this gaming year has been amazing, truly. So I look forward to December. We're gonna make at least one of these top 10 games. It's gonna be so hard. This is gonna be the hardest year in, I don't know. This is gonna be the hardest years in many years to really actually rank the top 10 best games. This game, of course, very likely might win. Look at Marianne, right? But seriously, yeah, it's an amazing year. I keep saying it, but I really do feel that this game year is like every month is like one game that I really love, right? And some months even 2 games, right? Where last year it was like 2-3 games I cared about, like Elden Ring, Pokemon, something. Yeah, it was very few games that I even barely remember playing. But this game year has been the best. Amazing, truly. Like I barely have time to complete this guy before this game was out. But anyway, that is my take on the new Marianne. Marianne is finally fixed, guys. What do you guys think? Please have a comment below. And so you guys can have a great day.